Lindsay Gottlieb calls JuJu Watkins showing versus UCLA historic. No. 6 USC got a top 10 in city victory over no. 1 UCLA last night behind an all-time outing from JuJu Watkins. Lindsay Gottlieb applauded the performance from Watkins following the 71-60 win for the Trojans over the Bruins in LA. She said, "As good of a coach as she may be, she didn't show Watkins how to do any of that after she posted a huge double-double and almost a triple-double on Thursday. I know you're going to ask me a million questions. I didn't teach JuJu any of that," said Gottlieb. "Just try to put her in situations to be her best self, and she does most of that work. I think this is a historic gallant performance that we should appreciate from JuJu and her team," Gottlieb said. Watkins finished the win with 38 points, 12/26 FG, 6-9 PT, 11 rebounds, 8 blocks, 5 assists, and a steal with a stat line that filled the box score. That was the 4th most points in her career to this point, as she accounted for over half of the Trojans' scoring output on the night. It was also by far a career high in blocks, while being her 6th double-double this season, and 15th in his career, with the 11 boards. Those numbers were as impressive as the points for Gottlieb, considering how Watkins decided to play defensively. "What I was so impressed with tonight, obviously, was just the mentality she came out with. Obviously, the ball going through the net helps," said Gottlieb. "But when we changed our coverages in the second half and said, you can't just go one-on-one with Betts. We have to double, but the double has got to be good. You know, she ends up with 8 blocks as well." Watkins carried the Trojans with that to their biggest win of the season, and their second one against the top 10 in the past week, to move to 22-2 overall and into first place in the Big Ten. She'll have to keep doing it too with 4 games to go, including a rematch in the season finale with UCLA, with SC heading into the postseason with hopes of being a No. 1 seed. The post Lindsay Gottlieb calls JuJu Watkins showing versus UCLA historic appeared first on On3. JuJu Watkins is putting it all together. It's one thing to have all-world talent. It's another thing to know how to use it. After torching top-ranked UCLA, USC's star sophomore is showing how she's realizing her tremendous potential. Outside the Gallon Center, a sea of crimson and gold fans huddled underneath umbrellas, weathering rainstorms and gridlock to watch JuJu Watkins and No. 6th-ranked USC take on their crosstown rivals, top-ranked UCLA. The masses had gathered to see what JuJu would do in the marquee clash, but at the start of the 3rd quarter, National Player of the Year favorite Lauren Betts, the 6'7" son of UCLA's solar system, was seizing the spotlight and powering a 10-0 run that erased USC's lead and neutralized Watkins's 25 first-half points. It looked, for a brief moment, like the culmination of a season-long parable. With depth, size, and shooting, the underappreciated Bruins were showing that they deserved as much hype as the glitzy proprietors of the celebrity-speckled Gallon Center. UCLA had captured the attention of everyone in the arena, including Watkins, whose gears were turning. The Trojans called timeout, and Watkins found Clarice Akanwafo, tasked with guarding Betts, and told her she'd have her back. From that point on, Watkins doubled aggressively on UCLA's star center, a strategy that helped fuel a 20-4 fourth-quarter run that handed USC its first win against a No. 1 ranked team since 1983. Watkins delivered with her biggest performance of the season, finishing with 38 points, 5 assists, and 11 rebounds against the best rebounding team in the nation, per her hoop stats. She also blocked a career-high 8 shots, many of them at the expense of Betts. According to Alexa Philippou, Watkins notched 35 points, 5 blocks, and 5 assists, which hasn't been done in Division I women's basketball in the past 20 years. We know we're not champions today. We're not where we want to go. But to just recognize the atmosphere, the crowd, the individual growth process, things that I see on our teams, said USC coach Lindsay Gottlieb. I will remember this defensive performance. We will be talking about this with our coaching staff years from now. JuJu's heroic shot-making, the effort, the intensity, especially coming after the million questions she gets when it's not perfect out there. Indeed, in the 11 games since USC beat UConn on December 21, Watkins has shot just 27% from beyond the arc and 39.5% inside it. The Trojans dropped a game against unranked Iowa 2 weeks ago, and Watkins went 5 for 21 against Ohio State last weekend. As UCLA coach Corey Close mournfully grumbled after the game, Watkins' 6 first-half threes were as many as she'd made in her previous 5 games, blowing the Bruins' game plan to smithereens. Fans, in the end, experienced one of the chief joys of a young star working through the ebbs and flows of development, a plateau turning into a breakthrough. Beyond the smooth pull-up and the game-changing defense was her ability to assess what the game demanded and take command. When her teammates struggled to score, she picked up the slack. In the second and third quarters, she was the only Trojan to hit a shot. And when Betts threatened to take the game over, Watkins answered the call. Betts' combination of size, speed, skill, and playmaking, alongside the Bruins' spacing, has made UCLA's offense an unsolvable puzzle for every other team in the nation. Opponents must make a choice between playing Betts one-on-one or leaving another shooter wide open. Watkins, however, has the size, speed, confidence, and anticipatory ability to double Betts and close out in time to force a missed shot from one of her teammates. Take, for example, the play when Watkins blocked Gabriela Jaquez in the first quarter after JuJu forced Betts to kick the ball out to her. Betts, who's shot 62% from the field this season, was held to a season-low 38% on Thursday, much of it due to the physical, disciplined defense of Akanwafo and Watkins' help-side magic. With 2:30 left to go in the game, Watkins hovered in the paint, blocked Betts at the zenith of her fadeaway jumper, secured the rebound, went coast-to-coast in transition, and dumped the ball off to Kiki Ariafen, who made a layup through contact and the whistle. UCLA's 2 made three-pointers were a season low. So was its offensive rating. Most of UCLA's opponents have to choose between doubling Betts or defending the three-point line. Watkins, when it mattered, shut down both. A big jump from freshman year to sophomore year is you kinda know what's going on. Gottlieb said earlier in the season to describe Watkins' defensive evolution. Freshman year, you use your talent and figure it out on the fly. When you're half a second quicker to the spot, when you know what's coming, if you're jumping to the ball and the back screen's coming, then your athleticism and your talent comes out even more. She's in the right place at the right time. If Watkins' 51-point performance against Stanford was the crown jewel of her freshman campaign last year, a demonstration of all she was capable of then, this game is her sophomore corollary. As a freshman, Watkins was sprawling and versatile, a transition terror with a deep isolation bag, nascent playmaking ability, and two-way potential, tantalizing the imagination by offering a multitude of pathways for future development. But she was also in the beginning of a raw and exploratory stage. Like a rookie conductor tasked with directing a full-sized orchestra, she didn't always know how and when to use all the tools at her disposal. On Thursday, we saw her intuition catch up to her talent. Watkins is now realizing her tremendous abilities in real time, peeling back the layers and learning as she goes along. I didn't plan on having that many blocks, but I think that's what we needed to win. So just any way I can help out, that's my goal, Watkins said. It's not really a calculated thing. It's just like a feel for the game. I kinda let my mind take over. It's one thing to have game-changing talent. It's another to understand, in the moment, what's necessary and how to adjust accordingly. It's a whole other thing to understand, as Watkins did, the psychological influence of a tactical decision. It was just important that our frontcourt knew that the guards have their back and we're all in it together, Watkins added. USC's budding leader is beginning to understand that power isn't just about what you wield but learning when and how to maximize its impact.